Good morning, everyone. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For today's practice, you'll need either a folded beach towel or blanket, like I have on my mat. If you have a carpet, something like this. So let's come down to sit. And as usual, have your 2 blocks or makeshift blocks and a strap. So yesterday we began our week-by-week dissection of the components that make up a yoga practice. And we're going back to the basics as we start this year with the 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs starts with the first limb, yamas, the ethical principles that we use to self-regulate our actions in the world. And all these 8-fold components of yoga is really to bring us in union with our true nature, in union with greater consciousness. So we're focusing on Ahimsa, which is the first of 5 within the first limb of yoga. So that is nonviolence. Here's a quote that caught me this morning by Marianne Williamson, spiritual teacher. Love is what we are born with. Fear is what we learn. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back in our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. A miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. She also talked about how darkness and light can be analogous to fear and love, in that darkness is the absence of light and fear is the absence of love. If you look at it in those terms in light of the yogic practice of nonviolence or Ahimsa, underlying that nonviolence is the intention to be love, to ripple the energy of love, to be a conduit of love in our daily actions. Not just in our physical poses, of course that's important, in how we treat ourselves and our bodies, because that becomes the seed of how we treat others. But today I want to go deeper into analyzing fears, because it is interesting how when our nervous system is provoked by stress, there are the reactions of flight, freeze, collapse, or fight. Fight can be in that realm of what can be harmful or called violence. And so here is some self-inquiry that you might integrate into your physical practice and maybe into your day as we practice yoga on and off the mat. One is to build awareness. What fears do you have that limit your ability to love yourself or others? And we all have fears. We all have ways that we might limit our abilities. I do. I know I have many. So in honest introspection, what fears can limit our ability to love? 2 is to build compassion in this process of introspection. How can you be kind to yourself in the addressing of these fears? Because it's easy to compound one fear out over another, then it becomes sort of not very productive if we're being harsh on ourselves in trying to understand what our fears are. So how can you be kind to yourself in this process? And the third, the last, is that of transformation. And I draw it from the principle of Pratipaksha Bhavanam in the Yoga Sutras, and that's when a negative thought arises, to think of the opposite. And while that's not just bypassing a negative emotion, it's being constructive. So in being constructive, in unlearning our fears, here's my question for you. What is the opposite of that fear-based belief that guides you back to love? What is the opposite of that fear-based belief once you've spotted it that guides you back to love? And perhaps that can be your mantra moving forward. Sitting here now, shifting any way your body needs to be more comfortable and alert. Allow space in the heart center area, by perhaps drawing your shoulders back and down, lifting up to your crown. And then let your palms rest in a receiving position. Perhaps your palms are face up on your lap, or some other way that feels receptive for you. So we open our bodies, we open our lungs with our breaths, we open our minds, but most importantly, we open our hearts. Feel your breath moving within your body. As you give yourself kind, loving presence to be here now, to be watchful and present. Deepen your breath in. Feel your rib cage expand as your lungs receive your breath. And feel the letting go, the exhalation. Deeper breath in. And releasing breath out. We're going to begin a Kriya from Kundalini Yoga called Ego Eradicator. And it uses breath of fire. So let's bring the hands to the belly. It focuses on moving the belly to the breath, short, quick breaths, and just breathing through your nose. So it's stoking Agni, or digestive fire, or the fire of purification and transformation. So you breathe in, the belly expands. You breathe out, and the belly bounces inward towards the spine. So the accent is on the exhalation, percussively bouncing the belly in like this. All the while, the upper body is relaxed, the face, the shoulders. You're just focusing on the belly bouncing in as you breathe out quickly. So now with this is an arm posture where you raise your arms straight, about 60-degree angles. Thumbs stick up towards the sky, the other fingers curl in. And you want to feel an active stretch between your thumbs and first fingers. Shoulders are relaxed, spine is tall, and then you begin breath of fire again like this. So start and stop if you need to, but see if you can find a consistent rhythm, and then perhaps even speed that up. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute of the Kundalini practice. Ready? Begin. Remember, mouth is closed. You're just breathing through your nose. Perhaps eyes are closed, directed towards the center of your forehead. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath in at the top. Think of lifting your pelvic floor as you engage your lower belly in and lift it up. Through your mouth, slowly exhale. Keep your eyes closed and see if you can bring your thumbs together to touch overhead. And then release your palms face down, out to your sides, and back onto your lap. Pause a moment to observe the effects of that. As you stay aware of your breathing, helping your attention to be in the present, softly constrict the back of your throat and continue to breathe through your nose, now sustaining your breath evenly in and out as you create a soft whisper. This practice is Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing. We'll use it to help warm up our bodies as we steady our focus. Easing your breath slowly in and out. Softly open your eyes. Now take a look at your legs, and let's bring the right leg either forward or on top of the left leg, coming into a cross-legged position, Sukhasana. Ground your sitting bones. Place your left fingertips on the ground beside your left hip. And as you raise your right arm, rotate your tricep or outer upper arm slightly forward. Draw your shoulders down, hips down, and lift up to your spine. Breathe in. Exhaling, start to side bend to your left. Pausing as you inhale to root down both sitting bones and continue to lift your spine from your pelvis. Then exhale, side bend further if you can for a few more breaths. All the while honoring space throughout your neck and sealing in your front ribs. At the bottom of your next exhalation, draw your belly in and slowly lift your spine up. Then plant your fingertips in front of your legs and sit up a little taller. Let your chest broaden and to fold forward. Let your pelvis feel heavy on what you're sitting on as you keep your throat open and your shoulders relaxing down your back. Firming your abdomen, lead with your chest, and as you breathe in, walk your hands towards your legs and slowly rise. Now let's switch the cross of your leg on top or in front in Sukhasana. Ground your sitting bones, place your right hand on the ground beside your right hip, raise your left arm, and rotate the tricep slightly forward. Draw your shoulders and hips down. As you breathe in, sit a little taller. As you breathe out, begin to side bend to your right. Pause as you inhale from down through both sitting bones and lift your spine from your pelvis. As you exhale, see if you can side bend further. Front ribs sealing in, shoulder blades softening down. At the bottom of your next exhale, draw in your lower belly and slowly lift your spine upright. Place your fingertips in front of you and lift your chest. Deep inhale. Exhale, begin to crawl your hands forward to folds. Feel the weight of your rooting down as your heart feels buoyant, slightly rising as you extend forward. Now, from the center of your chest, walk your hands towards you and inhale to rise up. All right, so like I've asked, have a blanket or paper plates if you have a carpet instead of wooden floor or hard floor, and just put it towards the rear of your mat for now. Let's come down to hands and knees. Set your knees a couple inches behind your hips. Plant your wrists right under your shoulders, but come up high on your fingertips. So actively hollow the center of your palms and see if you can get the very tips of your fingers rooting into the ground to rebound and lift up, not a sinking down. As you breathe in, glide your chest forward, then coil it up into cow pose, gazing. As you breathe out, contract your belly, tuck your toes. You might choose to hover your knees an inch or two off the floor or keep them down as you round. Lower your knees if they're lifted. Inhale, coil your chest up, cow pose. Option to tuck your toes and hover your knees as you exhale around to cat pose. As you take 2 more cycles, perhaps keep your knees lifted. Adds a little more engagement. Feeling a rebound of your weight off the floor through your fingertips. Lifting high through the center of your palms. On your exhalation, flatten your palms out, point your index fingers forward, and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Take the first few breaths to shift around any way you want to choose. It could help to warm up the backs of your legs. And softly moving your skull can help to release tension from your neck and your jaw. Stay aware of your breathing. Now, as you press downward through your palms, feel especially the space between thumb and index fingers rooting into the earth while you rotate both triceps towards the floor, just like we did in that previous posture. Shoulder blades lifting high away from your neck. Drop your gaze towards your feet, and let's take 3 more breaths, holding still in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bring your feet together to touch. Inhale, raise your right leg. As you exhale, bending your right knee, turn open at your right hip. Feel the external rotation. Inhale, draw your left hip further back. And as you exhale, carefully set your right foot forward, just inside of your right hand, separating your legs, hips distance. Come into your lunge. Might have blocks under your hands or fingertips on the floor as the back knee is lifted. Take a deep breath here as your front knee stacks over the heel. Exhaling, draw your right thigh bone back and straighten your right leg. Whatever degree you can fold with a long spine inside of the leg. Let's keep going. Inhale, bend your right knee. Exhale, the right hip back and fold. Pyramid pose. Twice more. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Now return to your lunge, untuck your back toes, firm down to your right foot, raise your arms and lift your spine into Anjaneyasana. Now think here, without actually moving your right foot, as if you're dragging it towards the rear of your mat to help align your 2 hips to evenly face forward. As you let your tailbone anchor downward, lift your frontal hip bones by activating your lower abdomen. Soften your shoulders down, lift up to your crown and fingertips. Now with your right hand, take hold of your left bent elbow. Bring it towards the back of your skull so that your left palm lands between your shoulder blades. Keep bending your right knee right over the right heel so your pelvis sinks forward, but the front of your pelvis lifts slightly. Now lifting your spine, take a deep breath. Keep your shoulders relaxing down. Exhale, side bend to your right, and keep going for a few breaths. Seal in your front ribs. Now at the end of this exhalation, lift your spine upright and lower your 2 hands inside of your right leg, scooting your right foot to the right another 3 inches. Come up high on the ball of your left foot. You may want to have blocks under your hands if your shoulders are tensing up. You want your palms flat here. Walk a little forward and back for a few breaths in this high lift lunge. Feel how stably your shoulder blades are spread down onto your back ribs and away from your neck. Stay aware of that and steady your breath. Now flexing both of your feet, roll onto the outer edges of both the pinky toe sides. Drag your right foot to trace the right edge of your mat down midway towards the rear of your mat. Press down to your left palm and 2 outer feet, and use your right hand to gently press open the top inner portion of your right thigh. Lifting your left hip away from the floor. Breathe in. Exhale, 5. Inhale, lengthen your neck forward, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, 4. Deep breath, root down to rise up. Exhale, 3. Inhale, still flexing both feet. Exhale, 2. Last breath in. Set your right hand to the top of your mat and step back into plank pose. Roll your triceps to face the rear of your mat. Broaden your chest. Look forward on the ground. Lift the sides of your waist. We're here for 3 more breaths. You might opt to lower your knees for added support or straighten your legs and firm your heels back, activating your quadriceps. Lift your lower belly, broaden your shoulder blades, and take 1 last breath. As you exhale, contract your belly and lift your pelvis high. Draw your sitting bones back and relax your neck. Let's take a few breaths in downward facing dog. Then bring your feet together to touch. And inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, externally rotate your left thigh bone at the hip with your knee bent. Inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Exhale, softly land your left foot forward just inside of your left hand, separating your feet hips distance and parallel in the lunge. Feel free to use blocks under your hands. Inhale in your high lunge. Exhale, scissor your left outer hip back and fold. Inhale back to your lunge. Exhale, left thigh bone back into pyramid pose. Keep going. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Last time, breathe in. Breathe out, straight and fold. Now return to a lunge, set your right down, untuck the toes, and firm down through your left foot as you raise your arms and spine. Anjaneyasana. Give your left leg the feeling as if you're dragging it back towards the rear of your mat. Stability. Draw your tailbone down and slightly forward, lifting your frontal hip bones with your lower belly active. Relax your shoulders, feel tall in your spine. Then with your left hand, catch hold of your right bent elbow. Bring it towards the back of your skull and land your right palm between your shoulder blades. Take a deep breath and lift your spine from your pelvis. Relaxing your shoulders down, begin to side bend to your left as you breathe out. A few more breaths. Seal in your front ribs. Stay solid in your left foot. At the bottom of this next exhalation, lift your spine upright and carefully lower your hands on the inside of your left foot. Scoot your left foot to the left another 3 inches or so and have your palms flat on the floor or on blocks. Tuck your right toes, lift the knee, high lizard lunge. Take a few breaths of gently rocking forward and back. Spread your right fingers and root down to lift energy up. Flex your both feet and roll onto the outside edges of both feet, dragging your left foot to trace the left edge of your mat midway down. Press the floor away and use your left hand to gently splay open the top inner side of your left thigh. Breathe in, exhale 5. Deep inhale, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale 4. Inhale, lift your right hip away from the ground. Exhale 3. Inhale, soften your jaw, relax your face. Exhale 2. One more deep breath. And let's come down to hands and knees this time. Set your elbows on the floor exactly shoulders distance and interlace your fingers. Feel your triceps rotate slightly to face the rear of your mat as you gaze slightly in front of your thumbs. Keep your gaze ahead and broaden your chest. Root down to your outer wrists and forearms and tuck your toes. Straightening your legs back into forearm plank, bring your feet to touch. Breathe in with the sides of your waist. Exhale 5. Inhale, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale 4. Deep breath, long energetic line from crown to heels. Exhale, 3. Inhale, broaden your heart space forward. Exhale, 2. Last deep breath. Slowly lower your knees and pelvis and splay open your forearms to parallel. Palms face down, Sphinx pose. Take a few breaths. Let your shoulder head soften back and release down. Feel actively stretch back with your toes pointed on the ground. Keep lifting your chest. Slide your wrists to meet your floating ribs. Hug your elbows close to your sides. Lift your shoulder heads. Look ahead of you on the ground. Tuck your toes. Take a deep breath in. Perhaps you do it with no knees on the floor. Up to you. Press up to plank as you breathe out. Lift your pelvis back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, press your shins to the ground, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Firm down through your feet. Inhale, rise tall, palms touch. Exhale, your hands together at your heart. Inhale, circle your arms overhead into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge from your hips into Uttanasana. Inhale, press with your hands to rise halfway. Exhale, fold again. Firm through your legs. Inhale, rise tall, gaze up. Exhale, back to your heart. Once more, Ardha Surya Namaskar. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow again. Inhale to rise. Exhale to gather at your heart. So now you have your blanket or your paper plates at the rear of your mat. Come to stand at the back of your mat, and we're gonna fold our mat in half. Or just slide it forward if you have space where you are. And place that blanket just behind the back edge of your mat, folded it in half. Come to stand on the blanket with your feet hips distance apart. Breathe steady, Ujjayi breath through your arms by your sides, standing tall and stable in mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, plant your fingertips on the ground, your mat in front of your feet. Bend your knees if you are not able to reach the ground, and lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, plant your hands flat on your mat and begin to slide your feet back into plank pose. With your toes tucked, shoulders over wrists, knees can be on the ground if you need. Exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows close to your side ribs, come all the way down. Point your toes. Inhale, coil your chest open to cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, press up to plank, into downward facing dog. Breathe in, exhale 3, inhale, exhale 2. Deep breath in, bend your knees, look past your hands. Exhale, slide your feet towards the mat. Inhale, press your shins to the ground, lengthen halfway up. Exhale to fold. Firm down through your feet, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, back to mountain pose. Let's try that twice more. Inhale, your arms up. Or flow sun salutation A. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Plant your palms on the mat and exhale, slide your feet back into plank. Glide forward of your shoulders and lower. This time cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting your hips. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale, soften your neck. Exhale 2. Inhale, prepare, bend your knees forward. Exhale, drag your feet towards your hands. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise tall, palms touch. Exhale to your heart. Last time. Breathe in, circle your arms overhead. Breathe out, bow forward. Inhale, lift your chest and lengthen. Hands flat on your mat. Exhale, slide your feet back to plank. Then glide your shoulders past your wrists to lower through chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Breathe in. Exhale, 3. Inhale, letting go of any unnecessary tension. Exhale, 2. Inhale to prepare, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, drag your feet towards your hands to a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise to the top. And exhale, your hands together at your heart. So let's go ahead and put that blanket aside. Wasn't that fun? And unfold your mat back to its regular size. And come to stand at the very top of your mat. Bring your feet together. Bend your knees together. And sit back towards your heels and chair for a few breaths. Now, as you look down from where you're sitting, make sure that your toes are visible. You are gliding your shin bones back enough so that your weight is heavier on your heels. Then let your tailbone drop as you hug in your bottom front ribs, relaxing your shoulders down as you gaze straight ahead or up, broaden your chest. Last 2 breaths in Utkatasana. Begin to lower your pelvis slowly onto the ground. Drop your knees apart, and let's take a moment in Baddha Konasana. Yay! To catch your big toes, your outer feet, or take your strap and place it around your outer feet and root down to your pelvis. Take a deep breath, lighten your heart space, and lead from that as you exhale to bow. Sometimes doing something different can provoke fear or anxiety, and notice when that arises, if that arises. And again, how can we be kind to ourselves when we notice? What is the underlying belief that creates that fear? And what is the opposite statement that you can transform it into? Out of love. Lead with your heart space as you inhale to rise. Take your outer thighs, close your knees, bring your feet together. Lean back, lift your legs, back to boat. Sit tall, breathe in. Steady your gaze, 5, exhale. Deep inhale. Exhale, 4. Deep breath in. Exhale, 3. Deep breath in. Exhale, 2. Deep inhale. Cross shins. Plant your hands in front. Step back to plank for vinyasa or cat-cow, or float back to chaturanga and take your own vinyasa. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Again, bring your feet together to touch when you arrive. Turn out your right leg at the hip, and flexing your right foot, cross your right ankle just above your left knee to create a figure 4 shape. Lift your sitting bones as you press the mat away with your hands. Firm in your belly, relax your neck, and let's take about 3 more breaths. Pressing your hips up and back. Take a deep breath in Exhale, come forward and tap your right knee high outside your right upper arm in plank pose. But softly step your right foot directly between your hands for warrior two. Spinning your back heel down, align your right heel to the arch of your left foot and cartwheel your arms apart to rest. Steady your gaze and allow a few breaths to ground here. Firm your right outer hip towards you, wrapping beneath your body. Bend your front knee right on top of the ankle. Perhaps see if you can parallel your right thigh to the ground. Firm the outside edge of your left foot into the earth as you straighten your left leg, slightly turned inward. All spine, heart space open, last deep breath. Flip your right palm to face up. Inhale, lean side, rear wall, reversing into exalted warrior. Exhale your hands to plank. Flow through your vinyasa, cat-cow, or none. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Allow a few breaths to re-steady. With fingers spread and grounded, bring your feet together. Turn out your left leg and flexing your left foot, cross your left ankle just above your right knee, a figure four. As your hands press the ground away, lift your hips high and draw them back while firming your belly in. About 3 more breaths. Deep inhale. Exhale, tap your left knee outside your left outer upper arm, close to your armpit. Set your left foot down between your hands for warrior two. Put your right heel down, align left heel to arch of right foot, and cartwheel your arms to rise up. Right away, steady your gaze. Feel the even grounding of both your feet. At your pelvic floor, lift up and lengthen your spine tall. Left outer hip wraps under, left thigh moves towards parallel to the floor. Outer edge of your right foot firms down as you firm top of your right thigh bone back. Last 2 breaths. Flip your left palm to face up. Keep bending your left knee forward as you side bend towards your rear wall. In peaceful or exalted warrior. Breath in. Exhale, land your hands to the floor. Optional vinyasa on your own. Taking rest when you know it's needed. We'll meet in downward facing dog. A few re-steadying breaths. Downward facing dog. Come down to your knees. Find your 2 blocks and place them on their lowest height. Set them apart slightly wider than your shoulders distance. Plant your palms flat on top of each block and return to a shorter stance in downward facing dog, where your feet are about a foot or more closer to your hands. Bring your feet to touch. Bend your knees and lift your heels and hips high. Look 2 feet past your blocks. Take a deep breath, and as you've emptied the breath, hold it out and take 1 or few hops to land sitting down with legs forward. Come to sit between the blocks. So now with your hands on blocks, have the blocks right outside of your hips. We're gonna come into Lolasana on same posture. So here, as you bend your knees, cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Lift down, Sit up tall. Think of both. So you're lifting the pelvic floor and lifting the pelvis off the floor when we exhale by pressing the hands down into the block. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift your pelvic floor. See if you can lift your pelvis. Maybe hold for another breath. And set your pelvis. Straighten your legs. Separate your feet hips distance and extend your arms up. Take a deep breath in and exhale to fold. Just for a couple of breaths. And you could be holding the backs of your calves if you don't have time to grab a strap right now. Just another breath here. Relax your shoulders, lift your chest. Lead from your chest and inhale, slowly rise up. Place your hands on the blocks. Bend your knees, cross your right ankle over the left, flex your feet. Think of boat pose where you're lifting your pelvic floor. We did a lot of work with the lower abdomen and breath of fire. So you'll think of that breath of fire engagement when you exhale. Take a deep breath in and the breath, root down to rise. Maybe an extra breath while you're there and set it down. Straighten your legs, let go. Notice if any judgment arises. Just fun. Just experimenting with our bodies to really experiment with our minds. Raise your arms, take a deep breath in, and then exhale to fold. Just a few breaths. Whether you're holding the backs of your legs or clasping, find a little. Lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise up. All right, so we're gonna try crow pose a different way than I usually brought it up in class. We're gonna put our feet onto one block as a platform and see how that might feel a little different. So place your block at the center of your mat, and you might wanna watch first. I'll quickly demonstrate before we get into it. We're gonna step the balls of our feet onto the block, inner edges of the feet touching. We're gonna bend the knees apart, lifting the heels, and plant the hands flat on the floor, shoulders width apart, about a foot in front of the block. Think of your arms moving through plank pose into chaturanga. You want to keep your elbows hugging in, arms parallel. Then we'll inhale, lift the hips, hollow the belly, gaze past your fingertips. We'll exhale, bend the elbows down to create an elevator in which you'll step your knees to hug the high outer parts of your upper arms. Then you'll take your knees with you as you rock forward. Whether you lift a toe or none, or both feet together, notice what comes up in the process. Internally, your thoughts, your breathing, and then we come back to the block. Let's give it a try. So have your block sideways on its lowest height. Step up onto the block with your inner big toes touching. Plant your fingertips on the ground, splay your knees apart. You're high on the balls of your feet. Plant your hands flat, 1 foot ahead of your blocks. Now take a pause, wrap your triceps back, broaden your shoulder blades across your upper back for stability. Gaze past your fingertips about 2 feet or more ahead. Take a deep breath here. Hollow your belly, lift your hips high, and hug your knees as high as you can towards your outer armpits. Or to lean forward. Root down to rise up. You're rooting down into the floor with your hands, and you're rooting down into your upper arms with your knees. Feel the lift of your belly and hips. And then after a few breaths, come back to your block. Step off the block into a wider leg forward fold. Feet parallel. Take your left hand and cross it to the outside of your right calf or ankle. Use your right hand to level out the backs of your hips. Lengthen your crown forward, breathe in, and exhale, twist to your right, raise your right arm towards the sky. Broaden the right collarbone from your sternum, and relax your neck. Float your shoulders away from your neck. Take a deep inhale to your nose, fill up your belly too, and sound it out to your mouth. Ha! Come down to center, cross your right hand to your outer left calf or ankle. Use your left hand to feel the evenness of your hips as you lengthen your spine forward and breathe in. Shoulder blades down your back at your waistline, twist to your left and raise your left arm. A few breaths. Let your left fingertips rising create that openness in the front of your left shoulder as you twist. Take a deep belly breath in, stick out your tongue, open your mouth and eyes wide, lion's breath. Come back to center. Come all the way down to sit. Now we're gonna use 2 blocks here. One, let's make an equal sign out of the blocks. So place them on their medium height towards the rear of your mat, one for the back of your skull, the farthest block. And the second block is where you'll place the area just below your shoulder blades as you keep your pelvis on the ground. Coming into supported heart opening posture for about 10 deep breaths. So once you're here, if you'd like to further open your hips, bend your knees apart into Supta Baddha Konasana. If your lower back needs opening, do the opposite. Set your feet apart on the mat, wider than hips distance, and drop your knees together to touch. Rest your arms slightly away from your sides and turn your palms in a mode of receptivity, palms face up. Let your shoulders release down. Fill up your belly, fill up your lungs, then completely empty your breath. Just about 4 more slow, conscious breaths here. Now place your hands either on both sides of you to slowly lift forward to come up to sit, or turn over to one side and press yourself up. So once seated, extending your left leg forward, take the sole of your right foot high on your inner left thigh. Now here's where you might want to use a strap, stepping the ball of your left foot into the loop or center of the strap. Hold the strap only with your right hand as I'm mirroring you here. Flex your foot against the strap. Place your left hand outside of your left hip. See if you might be able to splay open your right thigh a little wider angle than 90 degrees from your left leg. Then ground your sitting bones, get a little taller, breathe in, and spiral your chest to the left outside of your left leg and begin to fold in that direction. Pause where you are, ground your right sitting bone and lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist and fold. And if you're not using a strap, you can grab hold of your inner and outer ankle or calf with both hands. Last 2 breaths here in Janu Shirshasana. Lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Let's transfer the strap, if you're using it, onto your right foot. Open up your left thigh and seal the sole of your foot high on your inner right thigh. And then hold the strap just in your left hand as you flex the foot. Right hand outside of right hip. See if you might be able to splay open that angle between your thighs to an obtuse. And then lift your chest, breathe in. Spiral your chest to the right and begin to fold towards the outside of your right leg. Pause and re-anchor your left sitting bone while you inhale to elongate your spine. Exhale, extend your heart forward as you bow further. And if you're not using a strap, both hands are holding your leg or ankle. Last 2 breaths, head to knee pose. Lead with your chest and inhale, slowly rise up. Let's come on down to our bellies for Sphinx pose, that we can give our quadriceps some love to those chair poses and such. To set your elbows slightly in front of your shoulders, lift your chest, forearms parallel. Put your knees as close together as you can here. Relax your shoulders. Maybe even gently move your head to make sure your neck and jaw are relaxed. Now cross your left forearm in front of your chest and bend your right knee. Keeping your right arm, help to open the front or inside of your right shoulder too. With your right hand, find the inside of your right ankle or foot. That's the big toe, not the pinky toe side. Then have your knees no wider apart than hips distance. Root down through both of your frontal hip bones, turning your chest completely to face forward. And then breath by breath, bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right hip, lengthening the front muscle of your right thigh. Breathe in, relax as you breathe out. 3 more breaths. Gently release your right leg. Come back to Sphinx with both forearms and scoot your knees as close together as you can. And just give your head a gentle movement. Make sure your neck flat. Then cross your right forearm in front of your chest. Bend your left knee and backstroke your left arm to open the front of your shoulder. Catch hold of the inside or big toe side of your left ankle or foot. Put your knees as close together as you can so they don't splay wider than hips distance. Then ground both of your frontal hip bones, chest facing forward. Breath by breath, bring your left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip. Let's take 3 more breaths. Releasing your left leg, the right ear onto the ground so you can further open the inside of your shoulders. Slide your right arm straight out to your right with a palm face down. Now send your right shoulder blade further down your back to create space in your neck there. And with your left hand pressing the ground beside your left shoulder, begin to roll some weight onto your inner right shoulder. You don't have to lean completely onto your outer hip if you're feeling plenty of sensation in your inner right shoulder. But if you're not yet, you can stack your legs. You can explore stepping left foot behind you off the mat. And you might even explore the option of wrapping the left arm behind you too. Or perhaps stepping right foot on the floor with right knee bent towards the sky too. Again, let's take 3 more breaths. Gently unravel, coming back to center. Set your left ear onto the ground and slide your left arm straight out to the left with a palm face down. With your right hand pressing the floor away beside your right shoulder, begin to lean a little more weight into the front of your left shoulder, softening it down your back. Taking your time to feel into how your body is guiding you, the amount of weight it needs to feel a balanced opening. Or whatever options like stepping right foot behind, wrapping right arm behind, stepping left foot onto the ground as well. Let's take 3 more breaths. You're ready, slowly roll back to center. Press your hands into the ground alongside your ribs and slide into child's pose, bringing your feet to touch. knees together or as wide apart as it allows your pelvis to comfortably rest onto your feet as you rest your forehead down. If your lower back is needing some lengthening, extend your arms actively forward, reaching your fingertips towards the front of your mat while drawing your hips down and back. Into your stomach. Take a deep inhalation for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out to your mouth. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time into the stomach. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out to your mouth. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide your hands alongside your knees. Tuck your chin to your chest. And as you breathe in, roll your spine slowly upright. Slide your legs in front and let's get comfortable as we set our bodies up to rest for a few minutes of Shavasana. If your lower back wants some relief, roll up a blanket or have a pillow or blocks under the backs of your knees. Let your feet splay wider than hips distance. Let your feet and ankles relax. Anywhere you want to place your arms, to let your body rest. And once you find that position of rest, close your eyes, take a mental scan of your body as though you're mentally tucking it in to relax. Giving each part you encounter in your mind's eye permission to now let go of effort and to receive. Receive the benefits of your loving practice and your intention. As you lie here, allow your breath to deepen into your stomach, into the tops of your lungs. And gently exhale completely. And perhaps while keeping your eyes closed, allow your legs and arms to ease into a stretch. Perhaps bending your knees and maybe turning over to your right side gently. Begin to lift your body up, placing it in a comfortable position. For those of you staying for our 5-minute sitting silently in meditation, I invite you to continue our self-inquiry about fears, practicing loving kindness or nonviolence. As you might ask, what fears might I have that inhibit full expression of love? And along these lines, I remember a quote I recently read that the obstacle is the path on our spiritual journey. Let's begin. Ease our attention back to our bodies and the space around our bodies. So we join the palms to meet at the heart center. Entering a new day ahead. In what ways can be kindly observant of how we let light, how we let love in, especially in areas of fear or darkness. Let's close the practice with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.
Well, it goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor.